Good evening. Welcome to Ubuntu channel. Tonight we do have the program called Meet Your Leaders right here. The program that comes your way every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Your host, my name is Chaza right here, and tonight we'll be hosting, Mr. Matomola Likwanya, who actually get to help us get to discuss, quite pertinent issues. And, he happens to be the Lusaka Province Information and Publicity Secretary for the ruling United National Development Party. Like I said, Mr. Matomola Likwanya. Mr. Matomola, good evening and welcome to the program.
Yeah, good evening, comrades. Good evening, our lovely viewers and listeners.
Okay, first things first, I may leave out information that, alludes to yourself. Just give us, a bit of information about yourself in the UPND.
Thank you so much. Like I've earlier on alluded to, my name is Matomola Likwanya, UPND Lusaka District Information Publicity Secretary. I've been in the party for quite some time, and those are my portfolios. I am a teacher by profession, and I'm a businessman. Basically, that is all about myself.
Great, and it's good to know that you're a teacher by profession. It brings me, to finding out, are you a saving teacher? You've told us you are a businessman. Are you also a saving teacher, or you just trained and got into business?
So, because of politics, we have taken a path of politics, and that has overshadowed the other professional part of my teaching career. So basically, that is what it is, and we've taken that path of service to the nation. Otherwise, it's been an exciting journey. One of the things that overshadowed the career of teaching is the very fact that we threw ourselves hard in the fight to have UPND in power. So what preoccupies me right now is politics.
Right. What really prompted you, especially that you are looking so youthful? What prompted you to getting into, politics? What took you to politics?
The sufferings of many Zambians. I want to tell you something that the revolutionary conditions of what people pass through is what makes them to jump into politics. I come from the fifth West slum in sub-Saharan Africa, which is Mrs. Compound. Mrs. Compound is just 100 meters away from the central business district. I come from that area, the fifth West slum in sub-Saharan Africa, Mrs. Compound. That has shaped the background to my aspiration to be in politics. Looking at how people have been suffering, looking at the living conditions of the people, I thought that I could contribute and add positive change to the sufferings of the Zambian people by being the change myself. Politics is a noble profession because it determines a lot of things. It controls how things are done. And that is the reason why some of us decided that we should be part and parcel of the people that are that are driving the change in this country.
They say he who feels it knows it. And due to your experience, you decided to getting into politics. And tonight, we are discussing governance and politics. What is your take as regards, the current political situation? You wanted change. Do we have the change that you wanted? Are things better, or what is the situation like as we speak?
So the issue is that Zambian people, first of all, must be able to realize that the country where we are right now, he is liberated. Liberated in a way that we come from a previous administration where the rule of law corrupts, where constitutionalism corrupts. We are where we are here under the able leadership of President Hakainde Hichilema because of the vision that he has. The UPND administration right now and the government has delivered to the expectations of the Zambian people, because there are so many things that we have achieved in a space of 2 years as compared to the way our friends led this country in the past 7 years. I'm talking about media freedoms, comrades. I'm talking about the total exercise of democracy. I'm talking about the many things that have happened. I'll give you an example. Comrade Chaza, you understand that 48 hours before we could go to the elections, for the first time in the history of this country, internet and social media, the platform that we are using today, was shut down by the PF government using Zikta, was shut down by the Edgar Lungu administration using Zikta. This has never happened in the history of this country. We have only seen these things happening in Rwanda. We have only seen these things happening in Uganda and in Sudan and in war-torn countries. Media freedoms, rights of individuals in our country to be on social media and to access internet were curtailed in the previous administration. Right now, as we are speaking, Comrade Chaza, you are broadcasting on Ubuntu channel, a platform that has not been tampered with by the government of the day. Our friends, they tempered on media freedoms, they tempered on online news platforms, they tempered on so many things. Right now, as we are speaking, the UPND administration has delivered media freedoms, democracy. The UPND administration has allowed the formation of so many technology companies, telecommunication companies. It has allowed the IPA, Independent Broadcasting Authority, to give licenses to new TV stations and radio stations. That is in a bid to promote democracy, freedom of expression. The UPND administration in the past 2 years has scrapped off the defamation of the president clause. This clause allows the opposition, allows ordinary citizens to criticize to criticize the president, to criticize the government. So where freedoms of expressions and the freedoms of assembly is concerned, in the past 2 years as UPND, we have scored 100%. I'll give you another example, Comrade Chaza. For the past 7 years of the PF administration, they failed to give us to amend, to take the Public Order Act to Parliament. I want to tell you that the Public Order Act was an archaic law that was used by our former colonial masters, used against us to oppress us as Zambian people and as Africans. That document was written before independence. It is still being applied today to oppress, by governments to oppress each other. The UPND administration right now, as we are speaking, has taken the Public Order Act to Parliament to be amended, to be relooked at. We have done that in 2 years. The reason why we have done those things is to allow democracy, to allow freedoms of expressions, to allow freedoms of assembly. One of the laws in the Public Order Act stipulates that you and me, if you are more than 2 or 3, whenever we gather, we must notify the police. But we've got extended families that are 7, 8, 9. Should they be reporting to the police every time they want to gather and hold a meeting? So those are some of the laws that must be scrapped off from the Public Order Act, and that's what the UPND administration has done, insofar as promoting democracy, fundamental freedoms, rights of the media, rights of the citizens. We've done that in 2 years. And I will elaborate more on other areas where we, as a government, have scored in the past 2 years as opposed to our friends in 7 years.
You know, you are here attesting that there are a lot of, big things, great things, a lot of progress that, you've done as a party in government. But a common man right there on the street, they are saying we have empty bellies, we cannot eat. The dollar has escalated, has gone high, fuel, mini meal, and so on and so forth. And all they want is actually to have, that direct benefit, and they don't believe in, patience and getting to see that, some policies are getting to fruition after some time. What is your reaction? Well, what is the weight that you have for such people that are not seeing what you are actually purporting to be?
So one of the things that I want us to be very much real and factual about is that, number one, the UPND administration has come up with a proper plan on how to address the anger situation in our country. How are we addressing the anger situation? How are we addressing the anger situation in our country? We are addressing the anger situation by, number one, the government coming up with a state-owned meeting plant, Ego Meeting. Okay? Ego Meeting is a state-owned company that is now competing with the private sector. The government is producing fertilizer locally. The government is supplying farmers who supply maize to FRA where in time. They have actually increased the buying price of a 50 kg bag of mini meal, of maize, which means farmers are selling their maize at a very attractive price, which will make the farmers supply FRA with maize in time, and we will have a bumper harvest. This Ego meeting that you are seeing, that is the ZNS meeting that you are seeing in ShopRite, is a step in the right direction. Because anywhere, in any country around the world where a government is particularly interested to alleviate the lives of their people, they must be part and parcel of producing the staple food. They must not be absent in the production of their staple food. The government and the private sector must compete with one another. When they compete with one another, it means that there will be increased production by the private sector. There will be increased production by the government. And that will satisfy the market. In 2 years, what we have done is that we have closed our exports of mini meal to other countries. We have opened our market, okay, of supplying of mini meal to Zambia, which means that there will be mini meal that will be coming out of the country, coming into Zambia, but there will be the mini meal that we are producing locally will not be going out of the country. So all these measures, the production of fertilizer locally, will jumpstart the process, because we used to buy fertilizer in Saudi Arabia. We used to delay farmers to pay them. So they never used to find it attractive to supply maize to FRA. But right now we have doubled the buying price. All these effects, all these things that I'm mentioning, they will gradually begin to stabilize the price of mini meal. The price of mini meal, comrade, has been a topical issue since time immemorial. When Pickett Shara sang a song of Common Man, he addressed the issues of the price of mini meal. That was more than 20 years ago. During the time of the UNIP administration, it was the issue of mini meal that led us to the issue of coupons. During the time of the MMT, it was the issue of mini meal that led us to the issue of GMO maize. During the time of the Patriotic Front, it was the issue of mini meal that led us to begin talking about solar meeting plants, which are a white elephant right now, because some of these solar meeting plants are in houses of named opposition political party leaders in the Patriotic Front. Your solar meeting plants, a white elephant project that did not reduce the price of mini meal. But I want to tell you that this project of Ego meeting, ZNS mini meal, is going to reduce the price of mini meal. So that is what we are doing currently to remedy the situation, and very soon you'll be able to see results.
We have seen that political parties, when they are in opposition, they indicate that if when they get into governance, they will actually get to separate the party from governance. Is it practical? Do you think it is possible to run the government away from the political parties policies and ideologies kind of influence? Do you think it's attainable?
Come again?
We have seen the influence that the political parties have when they get into ruling, as it is the UPND in power. So, is there a possibility of the government working, in isolation or detaching itself from, influence from the political party, which is UPND?
So what we are saying, comrade, is that the major focus that we must have right now as Zambian people is, number one, to support the government of the day in their discharge to make sure that this country is better. Number two, we must run away from propaganda that is being peddled by our friends on so many issues. We must be able to appreciate the operations of the New Dawn administration, because the things that have been done are far much greater in a space of 2 years. You and me, comrade, were broadcasting using social media. Right now, there is a cyber bill that is being enacted to curtail people that will be abusing, that will be swindling, that will be hacking people's accounts. That is a progress in the right direction. In the Ministry of Education right now, comrade, you are seeing free education from grade 1 to university level. Those that are suffering, that have been suffering to pay school fees for their children, right now from grade 1 to grade 12, they are going for free. Those that have completed schools and they want to go and acquire trades, through increased allocation of CDF, 30 million, you are able to access free education, tertiary education, where you go and acquire a skill for free. I'm encouraging every young person out there, in your area where you are, there is free education where you are going to acquire a free skill. You can go to Lusaka Trades and get an acceptance letter and take it to the constituency office. They stamp, and from there they will begin paying for you for free. That is what is happening. Those must be our parameters of looking at alleviating poverty. Because Comrade Chaza, where I was supposed to buy 2 bags of meal with an extended family, I'm going to work it properly, because the money I was supposed to pay for school fees is now going to cater for my other needs. So what we are saying is that beyond what you are talking about, the great thing that we must now be focusing on is how this government is providing job opportunities to youths. We are coming from a previous administration, Comrade Chaza, where it was a difficulty for ordinary citizens who were not attached to the patriotic front to get jobs. Jobs were not being advertised. But we are now.
Let me just invite the participant who has joined us right on set by the name Daniel Zulu. Let's get to hear what he has for us. Daniel, good evening and welcome to the program.
Good evening, Chaza. How are you?
Doing pretty fine. How are you doing yourself?
I'm good. The East is okay.
Beautiful. You are actually, in Chipata right now.
Very much in Chipata, sir.
Beautiful. Go right ahead and, give us what you have and, talk to Mr. Matomola.
Comrade Matomola, good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, let me start off by saying, by our culture, we've been taught to say it's bad manners to speak with food in your mouth. That's how we've been brought up. Culturally, you never speak when you are chewing or when you have something in your mouth. there are a whole lot of issues that you've raised that beg a whole lot of questions.
Comrade,
You
when you talk about your name, you never
can
speak when you
I
have got food in your mouth. You mean me? I'm chewing, or maybe Comrade Chaza is chewing?
can I finish?
Yeah.
Can I finish?
Yes,
Can I
continue,
finish?
my lady.
I,
Yeah.
I'm sure Comrade Chaza has gotten the concept. What I'm saying is you've raised a whole lot of issues that beg a whole lot of reactions. I was actually attentively following the discussion and got forced to say, I need to join this. I need to probably bring my comrade back to reality. You've beaten your drums about what you've achieved as a party in a space of 2 years. I will show you the sad reality of what you've achieved. Of course, I give credit where credit is due. Where you've worked, I appreciate, and I say kudos to the job well done. But let's not paint everything purple. Okay? For instance, you talked about the rule of law and how people have been given liberty to speak, their freedoms to speak now. I'll tell you that in the space of 2 years, our government, the UPND government, has managed to arrest more than 190 individuals on trumped up charges that are politically aligned. Most of those cases, there are only about 2 that have come out with the government on the side of the government. The rest of those cases have either gone unheard or they still can't take off. Politically motivated issues that people or our government is reacting to. You talked about freedom of speech. It's just, I don't know. There's this comrade that has been in and out of cells over his Facebook posts. The idea of scraping off defamation of the president was so that people are given the liberty to address the president the way they feel the president should be addressed. What our government is doing right now is, if I address the president in a certain way that some of you don't feel comfortable with, one youth from somewhere will come up with some charges, report me to the police, and the police will be in a hurry to come at my house and pick me up. You talked about the cost of living. I don't know if you are living in the same country that I'm living in. It's just a few weeks ago that Zamstart was issuing a statement that inflation has increased. We are in 12.9 today. I don't know whether those are the realities that you want to address. You have achieved where you have achieved, sir. Yes, and congratulations on the achievements you've had. Congratulations on the free education that you've introduced. Congratulations on the increase of CDF. But it would be very unpatriotic. It would be an insult to a Zambian for you to say there is a better country that we are living in today than we were ever living in any time before. The dollar is way high. Millimil is way high. The cost of living is way high. Poverty levels today, according to the report by Zamstats and JCTR, today, over 65% of the families in Zambia are living in abject poverty. 65%, sir, is not a small number. And that is the responsibility of the government, not anyone else. We can do our part as citizens, but if conditions don't favor us as citizens, it becomes a problem. And it's the government that is supposed to sort out those problems. All the
Okay,
celebrations that you're
Daniel,
celebrating.
maybe
Yes, sir.
we may give a chance, to Mr. Matomola to actually react to some of the issues that you've actually raised. Mr.
Okay, I'll be
Matomola,
here, sir.
your reaction.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you. I want to remind you that we live in a Zambia that is progressive, because under the new Dawn administration right now, we do not have Chinese that are working in the Zambia police. These comrades, when they were in power, their power had gotten to their head so much that they had even thought that recruiting Chinese in the Zambia police service was the most ideal thing to do. We are coming from that background where when police have been sent to go and stop students who are protesting, they go there and fire live bullets. Vespas Shimujira was smoked. We come from a background where when the police have been sent to go and quell a riot, they will fire live bullets. Right at the cabinet, right at the cabinet office there, people were shot, live bullets. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that during the time of
Jesus.
during the time of
Daniel,
our
I can hear you. Let's just give him a minute. He just finishes his thought, then I'll take you in.
Okay. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Mr. Matomola, you can proceed.
During the time when our colleagues were in power, they used the police to abuse the citizens. Someone would go to court and be released and they would rearrest that person. Police bonds were denied to the citizens. We come from a situation where police and the cadres were working together. What am I trying to say? There is a total practice of the rule of law right now because the power which the police had lost at the hand of cadres has been granted back to them. Right now, as we are speaking, people have been given police bond. When you are arrested today, you are granted police bond. Just a few days ago, Dr. Chimbakamburi, despite him being convicted, he was granted a bail pending appeal. Something that never used to happen during that time. Right now, as we are speaking, accused persons are being treated with respect. They are put in luxury vehicles as they are taken to court. Our friends, when they were in power, they could bundle people like criminals even before being proven guilty. The current conduct of the Zambia police right now is very, very much professional. If there are people that have been arrested and convicted, it means they've been convicted on the things that are wrong, on the things that they committed, and the Zambian people can be able to see. Let me give you a practical example. Here is a member of parliament from Lumezi constituency. He goes on TV to announce to the nation that the president is going to dissolve parliament and call for early elections. An honorable member of parliament for Rumez, a PF member of parliament for Rumez constituency, goes on TV and addresses the nation and tells the nation that the president is going to dissolve parliament. He's going to call for early elections. And then they arrest that person. And then my brother here comes and says, these are arbitrary arrests and these arrests are unconstitutional. Let me give you another example. Dr. Chimbakambwiri, he goes on TV and tells the Zambian people that even if Jesus Christ came, the Tongas who betray Jesus Christ and vote for a stone, when they arrest him, then it is an arbitrary arrest. That should not be the case. That Peter Machen, who was intimidating the police right there at the PF Secretariat and pointing at them, that is misconduct. When they arrest you, you say it is witch hunt. There is no freedom. There is no democracy. The people that have been arrested today have committed crimes that Zambian people can be able to say. Let me give you another last example. Dr. Fred Membe, Kevin Lubinda, and Emmanuel Mwamba are arrested for trying to cause anarchy. They feature in a documentary and accuse the head of state that this man is being funded by the Anglo-American Corporation, okay, to destabilize other African countries. When they fail to produce evidence and they are caught at the police and then they are arrested, you call that witch hunting. That is not witch hunting. What we are saying is that there is total practice of the rule of law. The same courts that my brother is saying they do not have justice are the ones that saw the Chris Zumani, the former advisor to the president, go free. The same courts that others said are not just are the same courts that set free PF deputy SG Mumbipiri. They are the same courts that ruled that Bowman Rusambo was eligible to stand. So we should be able to apply we shouldn't apply the law where it suits us. We should apply the law fairly, and right now things are moving very well where justice and the rule of law is concerned in the country.
Thank you so much, there, Mr. Matomola. And at this point in time, I'll invite, Mr. Zulu, who is seemingly, burning to actually, react or probably even get to ask, one or two things from what you are from submitting. Mr. Zulu, you can come through.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chaza. You know what's painful? Zambians today have lost their sense of patriotism in defense to the color of regalia they're putting on and the symbols they're flashing. What's wrong? What's good for the goose should also be good for the what? Yeah, I don't know the other animal, but I only remember the goose. Listen, if it was wrong then, it should be wrong now. You talked about extrajudicial killings. People were shot dead. Sir, can I remind you that a 15-year-old boy was gunned down by a ZNS officer who was searching if a household has more than 2 bags of millimil in Kankoyo. That boy that was shot, until today, no one has been arrested. There's no warrant for any officer that has been, no inquiry has been made into the death of that person. You've alluded to the deaths that happened during the PF, and sadly so, we regret all those things because what affects fellow Zambian affects me also. I shouldn't celebrate a death because it is of an opposite an opposite camp or an opposite political party. No, we are all Zambians, and we should live under the liberty of the same laws, enjoying the same rights. Those people that were gunned down by the PF, I believe most of those cases have been heard and people responsible have been arrested. There's one that is serving right now that was arrested together with Mumbi Piri that is serving over the death of someone. There's another police officer that was arrested over the death. Those people have been convicted for the murders they committed. The 15-year-old boy is in the ground today rotting, and the person responsible has not even been called or questioned. Okay? And you're talking about extrajudicial killings. That is an example of one. What I'm saying is, if you want to talk about the rule of law, don't use PF as your standard. Use the constitution, because Zambia is not governed by PF. Zambia is governed by a constitution. People sat and came together and put together a law that will govern us. Anything below that is wrong. It doesn't matter whether the PF did it. It doesn't matter whether another son did it. As long as it is below par, as long as it does not align with our constitution, that is a wrong thing. So don't use PF as a standard. PF is no longer in government. PF is no longer in power. We chased those people out. We gave you a mandate because we believed to say you will do things different. You came with a notion that you're going to fix things. Fixing doesn't mean reverting back to the old ways. Fixing doesn't mean you need to now be giving reference to what used to be. No. The change we wanted is not just a change of political party or president. No. The change we wanted is the wrongs we saw in PF should not be tolerated now. How do you as a Zambian sleep at night knowing that the military, the army is searching for millimil bags in people's homes? If someone has more than 2 bags, then it's a crime. How do you even sleep at night? Like I told you, what you've achieved, we congratulate you. We look forward to seeing a productive government in the UPND. That's what we fought for. But don't beat your drum too loud over things that you've not achieved, over things that you're failing. Okay. Every case that you're pointing at, the case of Zumani, if the state had evidence, Zumani would have been convicted. The case never, the state never had evidence. Why shouldn't he be released? If the state had evidence, then why not convict him? But the question is, how many days did he stay in prison? How many days did he stay incarcerated before his case was heard? How many days did Mumbi Piri stay in prison before she was heard, before she was released? Today, our president makes a noise about this. Everywhere where he's given an audience, he will talk about his incarceration in Mkobeko. But look at Mumbi Piri beat his record. What he said he will not do when he becomes president, that is what he's doing.
Daniel, let's
Yes,
get to revert to Mr. Matomola so that you know, he reacts to your sentiments. And as Mr. Matomola, you are reacting to, you know, Daniel's sentiments. I would like also to know because recently we had heard that the youths, the young people, you know, even from your party, UPND, we're actually crying out loud that the government or the president, you know, has, you know, forsaken them. It appears that, you know, they've been abandoned after fighting hard and, you know, ensuring that the party, you know, got into government. How true are those, you know, sentiments? And if they are true, you know, what's his status like in terms of, you know, inclusiveness as regards, you know, the government and also your party?
Thank you so much. As I conclude myself, I want to say that those are not true. Those are not founded. That is not the official position of the party. We want to say that we shall continue to use the way our friend led this country as a yardstick in terms of looking at the future. We shall never stop talking about how our friends led this country compared to the way we are leading the people now, because that is a yardstick of comparison and of permanent critique, and it shall continue to stand the way it is. For Zambians to appreciate the kind of sanity that we have brought in this country. Okay? In conclusion, I want to say that Zambian people have seen for themselves, they have seen how we have moved, they have seen the tremendous progress that we have done. This is not a government that harbors criminals. This is not a government that protects wrongdoers. The cases that my brother has been mentioning have been taken on, and in a way that shows and proves to you that we as a government can discipline our own people once they are found wanting before the face of the law. We have seen district commissioners being fired. We have seen our own party officials being disciplined. A progressive government is one that disciplines its own people when they go against the law. Some of these police officers you see going against the law, being found in scandals, have been fired. Others are under investigation. It shows progress on our end, as opposed to our friends, the previous administration, that were keeping Babamens, whom they quite knew that these were murderers. I'm telling you that there was a man who was shaving Mr. Edgar Lungu. This man was kept right in the State House, even when Mr. Lungu knew that this man had shot someone. Okay? Being harbored, being kept at State House to shave the beards of former President Edgar Chagorungu. They kept him not until governments changed. That's when he was cornered, arrested, and put in prison, found guilty that he had shot a UPND official member in the name of Lawrence Banda. Why I'm bringing these examples, I'm trying to tell you that the UPND administration, whoever is found wrong, has been brought to book. Those that were found in scandals were fired. The police officers that were found doing scandals they have been put on what? Suspended, waiting to be taken to court and to be arrested. That is the type of government that we are talking about. When we talk about the rule of law right now, we are talking about a responsible government that is able to attend to the needs of the people. Right now, in the space of 2 years, we have seen jobs being advertised, something that was never happening. We have seen a proper roadmap on how we are going to develop our country. On the issues of mini meal, we have seen how the tremendous progress that has been done. Government has removed duty, okay, on all petroleum products to attract investors that would want to bring fuel in our country. Okay, we have been very honest with the Zambian people. We do not want to sugarcoat that which we cannot control and we do not have power over. We have talked to the Zambian people. We've taught the Zambian people. We've shown them some of the measures that we are doing. The president has been moving countrywide, has been moving in other countries, trying to reach bilateral agreements with other countries so that they can help us. That is why you saw him going to Angola to sign the Rubito oil deal between Zambia and Angola to be bringing oil, fuel direct from Angola. He went to Mozambique, he did the same. He went to COP24, to COP28, to woo investors to come and invest in the copper belt, where we have our youth trapped in there because we are interested in bringing investors. Right now, as we are speaking, the president is restless on matters to do with development. That's why you have seen increased allocation of CDF, free education. You have seen infrastructure going up. Some of these things that you are seeing will be appreciated as we move forward. The mandate of every government is tied to 5 years. We are only at 2 years. So looking at the development that we have done in 2 years, one can only praise this government, because in 2 years we have created job opportunities. In 2 years we have increased CDF to 30 million. In 2 years we have managed to operationalize the Eagle Milling, a state-owned company that will be producing mini meal and competing with the private sector. In 2 years, we've opened the Tazama pipeline, something which our friends didn't do. In 2 years, we have managed to have 3, 4, 5 acts taken to Parliament. Access to Information Bill, something which our friends failed to do in 7 years, we've taken it to Parliament. Amending the Public Order Act, we've taken it to Parliament. We brought the rule of law, signed the defamation of the clause of the president clause. We've signed it, something that has never been done by many countries in Africa. We signed another act of scrapping off the death penalty, something which has never been done by so many countries in Africa. These are some of the many things that are happening. When you look at the impact of CDF on the community, very much superb. Right now, people can have free education, can have skills. The perception that the country is so much stunted with poverty, things are not okay, is being created by people like my brother in the opposition who are not looking at the progressive things that have been happening in all the areas. Okay? When they talk about arrest, when they talk about the people being arrested, people have been arrested on just issues, just causes. Okay? Tell me of a person who has been unjustly arrested. Here is a former head of state's wife who goes there to grab people, her niece's vehicles. Okay, she gets $400,000 to keep her niece when they arrest you to come and prove how much, why didn't you take that money to the bank? Why didn't you declare that money to the bank? You come in and say that it is witch-hunting and they are arbitrarily arresting us. That is uncalled for. A former president's son who has got 65 motor vehicles that are not in the database of the ZRA. When they call you and tell you to say, how come you have got 65 motor vehicles that are not in the system of ZRA? You come in and tell the Zambian people that it's witch-hunting. No, it's not witch-hunting. Kingsley Chanda, a former ZRA commissioner, brought before the court to account on why ZRA vehicles were in the PF campaigns. Why did we have number plates written ECO 2021? When they call you to explain to the Zambian people why we had motor vehicles that were written ECO 2021, they arrest you so that you can explain how come we had number plates written ECO 2021. Then they arrest you, say it's witch-hunting, they arbitrary arrest. No, Baba. We cannot have people keeping zebras and impalas at their houses when we have got cases in the Ministry of Tourism and Wildlife, where animals were reported missing. And when they call you to ask you why you are keeping a zebra and an impala, whereby you fail to explain. What I'm trying to tell you is that the fight against corruption is very real in this country, and we must praise the president for doing what he did. We cannot have Faith Musonda having 65 million kwacha as a simple journalist. And when we arrest that person, my brother should come in and say there are more than 10, 11 people that have been arrested. In conclusion, I'm saying all the arrests that have been conducted by the UPND administration have been done so because Pariko Chimoz, some Zambian people, Bafuna Bazive, a councillor who was Tasira Rungu, how did she manage to have fish ponds worth 13 million people, 13 million kwacha? And when they brought her to ask how she acquired those things, it shouldn't be with anti-arbitrary arrests. What I'm trying to say is that there is a total exercise of the rule of law in our country. A country is moving progressively. Everyone is allowed to speak the way we are speaking today. We are coming from a background, comrade, where people were being attacked for belonging to a named political party. People have been attacked for being or featuring on the radio. For featuring on the TV, you would have cadres following you to attack you. That kind of a Zambia is what we are no longer seeing. We are in a new Zambia. So all of us as Zambian citizens must appreciate what the current administration is doing, because we have brought sanity in this country, and that sanity must be appreciated economically, socially, politically, and psychologically. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate there, and I wish we could go on, but time is not our best ally, and apparently we need to excuse Mr. Matomola Likwanya, who is scheduled for some other duties. Mr. Zulu, I wish we could actually go on, because I think this could have been a very interesting debate. But Mr. Matomola, has to go, and like we have seen, he has even fallen off. I look forward even to hosting you and himself right on the program, so that you could debate such issues. But despite him going, I believe you are still burning with one or two issues. I'll give you a chance to also give us your closing remarks as you address some of the issues.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chaza. I've featured on Ubuntu. This isn't the first time. The first time you hosted me, I wasn't so much interested in the affairs of the nation as I am today. When you are doing comparisons, sir, there are certain limitations to every comparison. The beauty with our friends who feel whenever you talk against them, you're in opposition, is that they're trying to strike a balance between the bad that PF used to do and the good that they're doing.
In your remarks, I would like you to probably just address maybe one or two issues that you can address without so much making reference to our guest who has left, because he's not here to defend himself.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so I'll talk about ego milling, the ZNS plants that have been operationalized. Since we are talking about striking a balance, let's also adopt the other good that the others have done and see whether we are leveling up. Ego milling is another regime's project, and that's what they're using, and they're calling it their own baby, which is bad. If you are going to compare my work, my evil, compare also my good with your good. Don't just compare my evil with your good. It's like comparing your intentions with your what you want to do as your intentions with what someone has already done. You see, like I intend to do this, and this one has done that. You can't compare that. You compare actions to actions and intentions to intentions. The rule of law has shrunk in this country to its worst. We are coming from a brutal regime, I agree, but we are in a worse than the brutal regime we were in, because if in 2 years you can match and surpass what your friends did in 2 years of government, your friends did it in 7, you've done it in 2. That's the worst record that you can ever have. A lot is wrong. A lot is going wrong. And like I said in the beginning, it's bad manners for you to speak when you have food in your mouth. I do not expect anyone aligned to the current regime to accept the wrong.
Mr. Zulu, I think I'll,
Yes,
I'll,
sir.
I'll cut you short because I
Okay.
know you are
Thank you
boiling
so
with
much.
a lot of issues. And like I earlier indicated, we need a platform, a time that yourself can be around, and
No
the
problem.
likes of our guests can also be around, and you can debate those issues. And I know that a minute is not enough for you to actually make your conclusion. So this platform is right here for you, and we'll definitely get to call on you to actually have an in-depth discussion as regards issues that affect, our country. For now, thank you so much for coming through. We greatly appreciate. Right on. And not forgetting the viewers, listeners out there, we greatly appreciate, for your time, for being with us right here on, Ubuntu channels. Meet your leaders. I was supposed to be with Lance, but Lance was just there on the other side following the program. We greatly appreciate to know that, Lance, you've been following the program right here, despite, failing to make it on set. And all those that have been following the program via Facebook, YouTube, and so on and so forth, we greatly appreciate. From our Ubuntu channel, my name is Chaza, your host right here on Meet Your Leaders. Till next time, God bless you all.